Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to another episode of To the Moon. What's cracking, Alex?
Hey, what's up, Jamil? How are you?
How are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Really good, man. I'm it it's really gratifying for me to have you on an episode of this podcast because
Appreciate it.
I so am connected to your journey because I remember like the first day we met. I remember when you first came into the program. I remember,
Yeah,
where you were, how things were going for you, what you were trying to accomplish for your family and life. And I've watched you grow, to where you are today. And it's an incredible journey, dude. Like you should be very proud of yourself.
yeah. I appreciate the community. I remember I was just thinking this morning when I joined the program because I remember when I closed my first deal. But I remember I joined this next month. June is gonna be my anniversary on Astro. So because I was just thinking, when I met Andre, and well, maybe we're gonna on the story a bit later, but it's gonna be a year. And it's been a lot of things that happened since I
In a year, bro,
joined.
so much happened in a
Yeah,
year, right? So, guys,
yeah,
just so anybody listening right now, if you are struggling, if you are trying to get this business to work, if you are having, a hard time with getting success, if you're bleeding money right now and things aren't working out and panning out for you in your journey in wholesale real estate, then you want to be on this podcast because Alex is going to tell you exactly how his life changed in a year. Alex,
yeah.
how did you even find us? How did you get involved in real estate investing? How did you find wholesale? Rewind us back to the
Yeah.
beginning.
Well, I remember um, I went to actually I was born I was born here in California, but I grew up my whole life in Mexico. So I'm telling this because I was actually in a real estate event, but it was in Spanish. It was like a Hispanic community. And I remember on that event, I got really early to the event and I just volunteered myself to help these guys. Hey, do you need some help? And they gave me like a walkie talkie and a radio and a official t-shirt of that. It was like a 3 day event. And in that event, I was just asking around. I know wholesale was one thing of getting into real estate, and I met Andre. Andre was on this event, and I just asked him like, "Hey, I would like to get into real estate, but I
Andre,
don't have."
another Astro flipping
Yes,
student. Yes.
an
Yep.
Astro student. He's been maybe like 2 year or a
Yep.
year or so, 2 years.
Andre's awesome. He's down in South Florida.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. And I think now we're kind of like friends. And I remember he told me about Astro, and he showed me like some videos. And I remember telling him like I want to get into wholesale, but I don't want to talk with homeowners. So he was like,
And
"Oh,
why is that? Is it because English isn't your first language? Is it what
yes."
makes so the people that are watching can understand where you're coming from?
Yeah, I mean, because I moved to the States 4 years and a couple months ago with no English. Like, I just knew hello, how are you? And I struggle a lot. And I still sometimes I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention this. So for someone with my background, sometimes it's hard to have those type of conversations,
Mhm.
with homeowners. And I thought it was going to be a bit difficult for me because back then, 1 year ago, I was still struggling with my English. And when I joined actually Astra, I started talking with more people, being on the calls, and then I level up my English and I stopped like taking actually private lessons and then just being on the program. But yeah, that is kind of a downside that I didn't want to speak with the homeowners because I was like it's not gonna be for me.
Right. So then you hear about this way to wholesale that doesn't require you to, cold call homeowners and you jump in, right? How did that decision go?
Yeah, so we met in this event and I was on the fence. Like everyone, at the beginning, like, should I buy the program? I shouldn't. Or should I buy the program? Or maybe it's not for me, or I will find just everything on YouTube. It's free. But then after 2 weeks, I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. I really believe actually in I created a business like a couple years ago, and it came from a program that I took. So I was kind of like familiar with taking a program, have a mentorship, have week calls. So I was sure that it was gonna work because Andre, it was word of mouth. I maybe if I didn't see your ads or any ad of Astro before
You're
joining
the
the
only one
program.
who joined Astro Flipping and didn't join
No, it
watching one
was
of my
just
ads.
word of mouth, and I think it was the best because I would have not understand like a thing of what actually was Astro and wholesale.
Right.
Because I was in this event and I didn't know anything about ARB, I didn't know anything about fix and flips, I didn't know a thing about real estate. So Andre actually, you know, explained to me everything. Okay, we connect with agents, we connect with wholesalers, and then we try to have good end buyers to close these deals.
And so you jump in and you got your first deal done pretty quickly, right? That was it. I mean, it took you a little bit of time, but it
Yeah, it
was
took me. I mean, I think at the beginning you're trying to figure out what is gonna be your
your
approach.
best way. Yeah.
Yes, because I remember, and I have help out another Astro students, and they want to. Well, for me, it works just to be in one market. And I remember telling you one of the calls, I'm struggling because I picked my market and it's gonna be Texas, but then I realized that Texas is huge. There's a Dallas, San Antonio, and then small counties, small cities. So then you told me one day, hey, just focus on one city, and then that is when I start making some progress. I know there are students that focus in different places, different markets, and they have success. But for me, I like to be just in one market because it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that
What
was my
market is it?
approach
You're in San Antonio, right? That's
in
where you
San
focus.
Antonio and Corpus Christi. So I'm kind of like in both. But yeah, it took me 2 months to get my first deal. But actually, in the same month, I got actually my second deal. So I was like, oh, it works. this
So
thing works.
so 2 months in, you get two deals done. How much did you make on those
Yes.
deals?
I remember. I mean, actually, it's like a good story because on my first deal, I made 1,000. It was like an MLS deal, but just I made 1,000, and I you know found a buyer. Now, no one wanted this deal, but I had like some good comps, and in this market, especially not in San Antonio, it was in Corpus Christi. Buyers wasn't having like oh, it's on the MLS, but I knew my comps. That is something that we focus on the program. So a lady that is an agent told me, hey, I'm gonna go and take a look at the property, and she wanted the deal, but I knew because the other offers I was getting, numbers were a bit were a bit tight on that deal, and I was like, I'm gonna just leave this deal, make 1,000. But from that deal, actually, I have sold like 2 or 3 properties to this same buyer, you
Awesome.
know, and we are actually like friends. Sometimes she called me, and we have like a really good relationship. And then that same month, I closed another deal. It was 13,000, and it was I sold that deal to actually an Astro student.
Amazing.
So
So second
yes,
month in, you're made $14,000,
yes.
right? How much money had you made in your life prior to that?
Well, actually, I mean, not something like this. I was actually selling products on Amazon, and I was kind of having some success on that. But for me, this was just mind blowing because I never thought I was gonna be wholesaling and making a deal like in 2 months. And
And
for me, it was a big achievement for the things that I said.
you live in San Antonio, right?
Yes,
So you live in the market that you work in, so you're able to like shake hands with the buyers and like make friends, make real relationships with people, or are you doing a lot of this stuff virtually?
I do everything virtually. I have sold properties in San Antonio that I've never been to. So actually, I have wholesale more in Corpus Christi and some in San Antonio. But I've never been to the properties. I've never met like anyone. It's just everything is on the phone, and that is actually how it works for me.
It's
even here
it's
in
it's
San
how
Antonio.
I teach it, bro. The one
Yeah,
thing you'll hear about, in my relationships, in my journey, the one of the agents I have a great relationship with, I've done hundreds of deals with. People know her, Monique Walker. I did 30 transactions with Monique before we ever met for coffee.
yeah,
30 deals with one realtor before we ever had a coffee. And so that
yeah.
just tells you, how dedicated I am to protecting my time.
Yes, and I mean this buyer, this lady that she has bought some deals from me now. She's like, hey, I'm gonna be in San Antonio next month. Let's have some lunch. You have brought me like really good deals, so I appreciate you. And I'm like, yeah.
So what does the business look like for you now, Alex? How's it been going?
Well, so after closing those two deals, I closed another two deals in December. So in Corpus Christi, in one in San Antonio. So I've been actually just on March, after those 2 month deals in December, I closed five on March. Actually, that was my biggest month.
Biggest
On
month?
January, yes, on January, I was struggling, to be honest, with a couple personal things in January, and then in February. But I always stayed consistent. I was like, I'm doing this, and I was doing my KPIs, and I was also like taking care of myself, but I wasn't having that result in 2 months, and I, but all of a sudden in March, two deals come in, and then third deal, the fourth deal, and the five deal. So then I was like, wow, and they actually went from different buyers, and I create like really good connections there, and I think March is being like the best month I had, and
And
since
how
then
much did you make in March?
I made 13 36,000.
36,000 over 5 deals?
Yes, or five deals.
Awesome. So your average deal is about 7K?
7K, yes. Yeah, I will say seven. In that deal I made one of 4,000. I made one of 10 grand, another of 10 grand, and then like another small of 5 6,000. And actually I made on that March, I made like combinations of different strategies. I did like a direct to seller that was brought for me from an agent. I did, some actually a deal from an Astra student with an Astra student. I found a buyer, and I did some from agents, and so it was like a combination and of these deals. And just real quick, I made that wholesale deal from a homeowner, and I always want to remember that deal because I had to listen all the story of this of this couple that were trying to sell their house, and I made it happen. And I listened everything, like how they met, every problem that they had in their life. And it was like a direct to seller deal. So then I was like, no, I'm glad that I chose this program.
When you compare direct to seller to the way that we work, what do you prefer?
The Astro is the best for me. For me, it's being the best, and I think for a lot of people, it's just makes a lot of sense. Have agents, wholesalers that you can you can close different deals with them.
So are you looking at now building something a little bit larger because you've started to get some consistency going? What's next on the horizon for you, Alex?
Yes, actually, that is something that I starting to figure out. Like, okay, what I want to create from this, because since March I've been consistently closing like deals. I've been closing
What about April? What about May? How did you do?
April, and on April I closed actually two deals, and it was 12. It was 12,000, and then I was supposed to close one deal on that month. He was gonna make another 10 grand in close until this month. And this month I've been closing like with other wholesalers because now I have some good relationship with my buyers. And I'm like, hey, I think this deal might go when I work for one of my buyers. It makes sense for one of my buyers.
Yep.
So I start making some like micro flip deals when I make 3,000, 4,000, but I keep the momentum. I think in May, yes, in May I still closed like another deal. So it's been just a momentum of these micro flip deals and also like my own deals.
Incredible, dude. Incredible. Are you helping out your family back in Mexico? I know that that was something when you got started that your plan was to, you know, be helping out family
Yeah,
members. Has that come to fruit for you?
yeah, I wanna help my mom. I love my mom, so I would love I been supporting her in a way because now I'm able to do it. So yes, of course, my family is on the top of my list to keep doing this. When sometimes I'm dismotivated, I'm like, my family is one of the
They're
things
counting
because I
on
want
you.
to do it. Yes.
They're counting on you, man. Any time that you run out of gas, there's no stronger gas in my life than mommy. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that, man. I think about my mom. I think about how much she sacrificed to get me into this situation in my life, and who the hell am I to be lazy today?
Yeah, and I saw that on the program that we have the energy we have on the calls is about that. It's about gratitude to the people that we have worked with and the people that we are connecting on the group. Because, for example, with these agents and I send them, like some gift cards and I appreciate you and we have like a good relationship. So just a bit of showing gratitude, with something material.
That's awesome, man. Alex, how do people do business with you in San Antonio, bro?
Well, I'm gonna say my number. I'm not sure. Can I say my number?
Oh
My
yeah,
number.
you're gonna get a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls. So guys, if
Yes,
you have deals for Alex in San Antonio, reach out to him. Alex, what's your number?
831-265-1549.
One
That
more
is my
time.
831-265-1549. And
Guys,
maybe we can put it on the chat. That will be
yep, we'll put it up. We'll put it up on the graphic there, guys. Reach out to Alex. He is ready to do business with you in San Antonio, Texas. Congratulations on all your success, brother. You're one of those people that I'm so happy to have on this show because I've watched you. I watched you come in, I watched you grow, and I've watched you blossom into this incredible business person, this great community member, somebody that's always ready to help, somebody that's always willing to do trainings with other students, that's willing to do business with other students, and always pay it forward. And that shows in the way that you handle your business and the way that you handle yourself. Congratulations on making it to the moon, baby. Let's keep
I
going.
appreciate it, Jamil. And I always, when I close a deal, I always tell you that, I really grateful that I met Andre. I'm in this community, and that is the way of showing gratitude and just helping other members for sure.
Keep it going, bro. Congrats.
All right. Appreciate you, Jamil.